It's a lot of respect for Max. On every team, the story is always told of the leading scorer, the veteran, or what people perceive as your best player. But championship teams, from my point of view, in my experience, it's always been every guy. There's always so many stories on a team. But you guys remember Max's story. Max was a really good high school player in Austin, Texas. Had a lot of scholarship offers, but wanted to come to Ole Miss, which I understand. Great college town, wanted to be here. Basically graduated with the business school here with a 4.0 and just loved to hoop. Rec Center legend. Started getting my intel about him. He'd go over to the high school here and shoot on the gun at night. He's a college kid. He's in a frat. He's making great grades. But so when we heard about that, we were always trying to increase our team. So it was in the springtime of the end of our first year, brought Max in, kind of learned his story. There were some connectors. I knew his high school coach in Austin, some things like that. And so then you got to go through a long compliance process before he can even hoop. So we did a physical. We cleared him and all this, but he started coming to practice just kind of watching. Then the first night we were able to get on the court with him legally, just through some small groups. I mean, it doesn't take long. The guy knows how to play basketball. One of the best shooters on our team, but much more than that. I mean, he knows how to hoop. So we extended an opportunity for him to be on last year's team, and that's when I learned the whole story. He had basically a full ride to go to NYU and get his MBA. Now, I just kind of paused. I said, Max, the recruiting's over, man. I can tell you the value of being at Ole Miss, being on an SEC NCAA tournament team. We were speaking it into existence in those days. It hadn't happened yet, but it's kind of, ride or die situation. And so I was going through the whole kind of connections of playing college basketball. And then Max just kind of paused, goes, Coach, I understand that, but, probably get a few connections if I go to NYU too and get an MBA. So we left my office that day, and I was like, Max, I'm not going to text you tonight or call you. You understand that you are valued here. You will have a chance to compete and play a role, and you'll be treated like every other player on the team. And I really want to coach you. I like your story. I like your love of the game. But this one here, man, you got to figure that out. I get it both ends. And he actually called me that night. I don't even think he slept on it. But he said, Coach, I'm all in. I want to play college basketball. I don't want to live the rest of my life and have these regrets. And so then we left it really open-ended. He could take some more undergraduate classes here. He could start a master's here because literally, he could still go back to NYU or another Ivy League or something like that. That's what he wanted. So we just kind of kept it open-ended. So about this time last year, Max was playing really well. I mean, he's making shots and getting his legs back under him. I hadn't played competitive basketball in 3 or 4 years. Then he got hurt. And that was a tough one. And when he got hurt, you hate that for anybody, but you set up a plan for him, and we really left the plan open-ended. Spend all your time on your academics and on your rehab. Please stay connected with the team. Be good for your mental health. Be good for our mental health. We want you around, but you're obviously not going to be able to play for a long time. Then we just kind of kept it open-ended. And, he'd be over there shooting free throws on one leg, or you could tell his love of the game never went away. So when this past season ended, it was time to have a conversation with Max, and he once again had a decision to make, but this one was pretty quick. He's like, Coach, I came so close last year. I really want to give this a chance. I know how hard it's going to be, but I just want to play basketball. So it's now he's getting his MBA at Ole Miss, which he's excited about. It's a good school, great school. I think he's confident where he is academically, and so now he's just back on the court. So one of our core values has always been just love of the game. We're not looking for guys that like the game, and really we're not looking for guys that love the game. We're looking for guys that are addicted to the game. There's a difference between loving something and being addicted to it, and I think this is Max. It's right here in front of us. It's like a 30 for 30. It's a movie one day. The sacrifices this guy's made to play college basketball with the uncertainty of his body coming back. And so it's just an awesome story. And it'd be one, I know it won't get national headlines, but this is why we have a lot of internal optimism right now with our group. We have talent. Everybody does. We have some experience, most people do, but we're starting to just kind of see week 4 here this summer. We're starting to see that we might have some of those special stories, and so really pulling for Max, man, just really pulling for him. With Korey, just really believe in him. I mean, the talent's undeniable. He was sixth man of the year on a Pac-12 that Washington was in at the time. So he's a really good player. I have great respect for Louisville and what their coach does. I don't know him personally. I would say we're just basketball friends, I guess. But when he gets the Louisville job, it's pretty clear what he was trying to do. So they trust Korey's talent. He was a big name, good recruit. I think the Louisville setup was for him to be able to compete and play with Chucky with two guards, and they had played a foreign tour. We were able to watch a couple of those games, and then Korey played in 2 games in the regular season. But and so I mean, Korey, it's a reset. He's overcoming some major adversity. Not only the injury that kept him from playing, but really the mental side of it. When basketball is your DNA and it's really who you are. So I was just trying to encourage Korey from that first conversation. Like basketball doesn't define you. This is just an opportunity to compete in what you love, and you'll make it through. These doctors are so good these days, and the technology. It's not a matter of if you'll return; it's just a matter of when. So we're not skipping any steps with the rehab. He's done a great job. He's reshaping his body. I think he's lost about 10 pounds since he's been here. He's getting stronger. He's working out now, as he verbalized. He hasn't gotten quite the full contact yet, but it's a long-term play. We like the talent. We got to know the human being, and we believe that we're all on the same page, and we were willing to make that sacrifice with our career, knowing that really the starting date, can we get him back completely healthy by the first game in November. So calculated risk for us, but also calculated risk for him, trusting our program and the roster build we have. So I'm really pulling for Korey. I think he's got a lot in him. If he gets his expectations for himself on the court, off the court, just walk around this world with a little bit different swag. But no, he's been beat up mentally. It's tough being out a whole season. It's tough, watching what happened at Louisville, the magical first year, the good team, and he couldn't contribute like he wanted to. So, but both guys have extraordinary stories, and both guys will be a big part of what we do this season.
You talked about that conversation. I'm curious to get your take on the hour on the phone you guys spent getting to know each other.
Yeah, I remember that when I talk. I don't like to talk on the phone a lot. He was right in saying that, and that's why I love Wes and Al and Bob and these guys. They recruit at a high level, but they also take a lot off my plate. I'm very appreciative of that. But with Korey, I remember the conversation. I was at home, and I was just kind of walking around. It was nice weather outside. And when it started, it was light outside, and by the end of the conversation, it was dark. And you could tell he wasn't really a big phone guy either. Can you imagine being in the portal? He's heard it all. He got the first, honeymoon calls of the first day. And, then guys start dropping off, guys coming in. You can't decipher what's real and what's not. And it's got a really good agent that was helping him kind of funnel through the process. So when it gets to our first conversation, he's probably a little bit banged up. Our season had just ended, and we're trying to put together a new team. So, it's not like we're both looking forward to talking on the phone for 2 hours, but I think we just kind of cut through it. I really wanted to get to know the human being. We didn't talk a lot about basketball the first time. It was just about, hey, where you are. What do you think, man? Are you that guy? And I think, when you get him talking, you can see the confidence. It's there. The swag is there. It was just covered up with a lot of levels. So one of the things this summer is just getting him back to being the confident player he is and can be. And I think we really hit it off with the truth, too. We didn't waste a lot of time. We didn't talk about name and likeness. We didn't talk about what happened at Louisville or what didn't happen at Ole Miss. Like this is the moment we're in. We've raised the level of our program. We've lost Juju and Padula and Matt, some guys that got it done for us, that we're all in. And we're certainly not looking to take a step back here. So it's really high expectations here, making sure you understand what you're signing up for, because this might not be what you're looking for. And then he was able to express kind of what he was looking for. Yeah, he was looking for that opportunity to get back on this stage. And so just a lot of truth-telling in that first conversation.
When y'all were talking about basketball things, and when he gets to his healthiest, when he's back 100%, what do you kind of envision for him as a player, for this particular team, how it's constructed?
Yeah, he kind of fits the mold of the way we like to play. He's a combo guard. He has the ability to have point guard mentality. And you saw this at Washington and at Louisville in his 4 or 5 games there, including the foreign tour. He drives the pass. He understands the ball's got to move, but he also has the talent to go get a bucket. And so I think he's got a competitive side to him that maybe hasn't been unleashed completely. I think he could be a great defensive player because he's competitive. He's one of those, kind of smaller guards that if you score on him, he takes him personal. It's personal to him. So I just see a lot of upside, and I just see if we can tap in and get him back to being the best version of himself while doing it within the team system and understanding the things that we value around here, discipline and being unselfish. We got a ways to go, but if he ever just completely buys in, I think the guy could really, really help us. Really help us.
How well is Max doing with that brace on his knee in practice?
Yeah, just a competitor. I mean, it's different than the last year's Max, but Max is just a savvy basketball player, and there's a lot of guys out there that can hoop. Like when I was in junior college, Division II, small college basketball, there's a lot of guys that can just play the game. And then normally what differentiates, you have a certain amount of athleticism to play in the SEC, a certain type of size to play in the NBA, positional size. But at the end of the day, there's just guys that can hoop. And Max is one of those guys, again, like any pickup game around the country, inside, outside, Max could play in any game. He can shoot. He can make shots. He can create his own shot. He's just a good basketball player. And, it's just it amazes me that he's sitting here on our campus, but it's like that a lot. I mean, a guy like Max, really good high school career, was kind of infected by COVID, his recruiting. Now he's sitting here, he's got options, but because of his quest for academics and getting that MBA and being a successful businessman one day, makes the decision to come to Ole Miss, but never lost that love of the game. I mean, he's a rec center legend. Like we do this at every job we get. We go down to the rec center, and you can tell who plays every day, and you just ask somebody, hey, who's the best player on this campus? Or then you go over to intramurals, and you just ask enough. And you ask our guys, because our guys are basketball people. And so you literally know every college campus has that guy, the top 2 or 3 guys that like to hoop. And Max's name kept coming up. Nobody knew his name. Like, a short white guy in here a lot. And so, we found him, and here he is. I give Win Case a lot of credit for that too. Win did a great job here. Not good, great. I'm so happy for him and his family. The opportunity he has to get back on the floor coaching full-time with Jay Ladner at Southern Miss. But I'm sure we'll talk about Win a lot as the year goes on because Win has his handprints on a lot of things that went on here.
I find that so fascinating, trying to find these rec center legends. Have you had past success stories that, from the past that, hey, this has worked?
Yeah, a lot of them. Junior college, used to go watch the football team practice, and when the day the bowl game ended, trying to get some of those guys to come over and help us. Every job we've had, we had a great player at Angelo State. We actually called him Rec Center. That was his name. Shout out to Rec Center. He's a good player for us. We've had a lot of them. Creative at Texas. Was a guy that played Division III basketball and then had a year left of eligibility. So, this other thing in basketball, you guys know this, like, as you get older, you get better too. It's always like the high school experiment. You play high school basketball, you're a good player. Everybody goes off to college, whether you're playing or not. You come home for Christmas, you all meet back at the gym, you play pickups, and guys are just better. They're a year older. Some guys blame it on the high school coach. That was never me. But guys just get better as you get older. You see things different. You have a love of the game. You miss being able to practice. It's not so much about playing time or your scoring average. I just miss being on a team. I miss the game. I miss playing the game. So, we've had a lot of success over the years, whether it be open tryouts or just kind of word of mouth, trying to find a guy that has an extra year, that kind of deal.
Guys like that end up rubbing off on some of your other players, some of those attributes, the love of the game, and the fact that he's not going to be almost certainly not going to be an all SEC player or something. Yet he's out there all the time. Does that rub off on other players?
Yeah, I hope so. And yes, it does. I wish it did a lot more. We actually told our team Max's story the other day. My deal is, guys, I love watching things on the internet. You sent me something about Kobe Bryant. I'm watching it. I've probably already seen it, but I'm watching it. The 30 for 30s are awesome. The sport movies are awesome. there's motivation everywhere, right? But trying to encourage the guys, like it's also sitting right here in front of you. You know, like we have graduate assistants on this year's team that are like grown men. Some are married, have families, and they're here working for a stipend, you know. And some of those guys, just great sacrifice. And say, you know, why are they doing this? They're betting on themselves and just trying to make sure the players understand that. Like, you know, you're blessed to be here on a scholarship, and many of you guys benefit greatly from name, image, and likeness. But like, you know, don't get it twisted, man. Like, you know, so a guy like Max, yeah, like he's just here. You know, Max is not receiving name, image, and likeness as of today. And I think he will once people know his story. Yeah, just getting guys to understand, like, you know, it's not all about me. And so, like, there's a lot of motivation on every team.
Korey said he's about 80%. Is that kind of what you see him too? I mean, where is he health-wise from the staff's perspective?
Yeah, well, first, he's done a great job since he's been here, and it's a lot of work. It's a combination of Raybon, our trainer, countless hours. This isn't a 3 sets of 10 on the band type of rehab. This is all day, every day. And his relationship with John Rowley, our strength coach. So, you know, basically John's doing a lot of the lower body stuff. Raybon's in charge of upper body with the shoulder. While at the same time, we're trying to get him into great shape. And so Korey's working really hard. And the mental aspect, you know, coming to practice every day but not being able to contribute, so trying to stay engaged there. So we're following the protocol. We're being patient with it. We're being aggressive, but we're being patient. We understand the first game's November 4th. It's not August 4th. So trying to keep him engaged with the team so that when he is able to get back, he's ready to step in, you know, as a full-time guy. So Korey deserves most of the credit, but there's a lot of people supporting Korey at this too. Jordan, our nutritionist, like it's a team effort every day with Korey.
Is there an update on Elias, his status?
Yeah, we just continue to go through the process, you know, both with the NCAA and also with eligibility. But I think everything's moving in the right direction. We can't wait to get him here. Also, it's not breaking news right now. You know, the I-20s, with everything going on in the world right now, you know, we're optimistic, but I think it's safe to say these things have been slowed down a little bit. So just with each step, trying to get him here. But we see no red flags along the way. We're doing exactly what's asked of us. Ilias is doing everything asked of him, so we look forward to him joining the team sooner than later. When he gets here, it'll be a catch-up curve, but with his experience in basketball, you know, I'm optimistic that we can catch him up quickly. It'll be a real team effort, too, with his teammates will have to contribute to making sure that he's up to speed. But everything's looking good in the process. Wish it moved a lot faster, but as you guys know, anything dealing with this kind of stuff kind of works at a snail's pace. So, you know, we feel the urgency, but we're also doing exactly what we're asked to do to get him here as soon as we can.
What do you like about him, just from his playing style, his playmaking, stuff like that? What really jumped out to you, like, when this week when you did the
Yeah, basketball kind of speaks for itself. He's got great size to play the guard position. Like all the players we try to recruit, he has point guard mentality, but he can score as well. Defensively, he has some real tools with his anticipation and his length. He's got long length, wingspan. And just like Korey, Max, and every guy on the team, we just feel like he's got a story. We feel like he's got a chip on his shoulder. We feel like he's motivated and has some really defined goals and what he wants to do through basketball with the rest of his life. And so, you know, he's somebody we believe in, and we just can't wait to get him here. I think he'll be a great teammate as well. Every time I text him or call him on WhatsApp, it's always about how's the team. It's never about him. I literally think he's like an experienced, really good player, and he can't wait to get to Ole Miss to play college basketball with his teammates, and so that's refreshing.
Been some rule changes, like contesting goaltending. You can challenge out-of-bounds plays. There's a 30-second game coming, 22nd, and 26, 27. What's your thoughts on all the changes, if you got any at all?
Yeah, so what we do is we make sure we educate ourselves really, really fully. No confusion. We talk about that as a coaching staff often, where we're getting video. The SEC commissioner of officials, he always comes out to each campus in the summer. We always let him kind of present the stuff, and then we'll follow it up. I think the challenge it'll be interesting. You you certainly, I think from a coaching standpoint, you don't want to lose that challenge. So you start thinking about, when's the right time to use it. But also if there's a glaring call that you're right on, you'll get the challenge back. So I think there's going to be a lot of tense college basketball staff members that are holding that iPad in their hands this year, because it's not like we have a time to have a full conversation about it. It's going to be either a here or a here. It's going to be quickly. So, but no, that should be interesting for the game. I think that'll anything that can impact like a close game being won by the right team. And so with those type of rules, it'll make a lot of sense. But really, it's not until Mike comes out here in the summer and kind of tells us what's going on that we don't give our information to the team before that happens.
Ask one more big picture question. I was listening to a podcast earlier today actually with Kevin Durant, Steve Nash, and LeBron James. They were talking about they think the mid-range game is coming back as an important piece. I know analytics have pushed everything to shots at the rim, a barrage of three-pointers. From your perspective, not only with your team but just the sport in general, do you see an emphasis coming back on mid-range, and is that something you're having to like almost reteach?
Well, we've never gotten away from it. We talked about that, right? This group. First of all, so I grew up watching Michael Jordan play. I mean, he's a mid-range Hall of Famer, the back-to-the-basket stuff, the driving, the pull-ups. Then the next generation was obviously Kobe, mid-range player. Of course, I started playing basketball before the three-point line. It came in, I think, when I was a freshman in high school. And so for us, it's like I understand the analytics, of course. Like there's nobody that doesn't want an A-zone shot, a dunk, a layup, to get fouled. With shooters becoming so much better at the three-point line, a three for Travis is a layup. It's a 70% shot. So for us, we've always just defined shot selection, and like everybody on our team has game shots. What is a game shot? It's a game shot that guy can make at 50%. Or 80% around the basket, or 40% at the three-point line. It's a shot that player practices every day. So ideally, if we get 65 shots on goal opening night, we're in the film room a couple hours later and we're watching 65 shots that we all believe in. Yeah, it's a good shot by Korey. He practices that shot every day in individual workout. Yeah, it's a good shot by Dia. He works on that. It's like, it's like when somebody goes to an NBA game and you see a Steph Curry make an amazing kind of like step back shot, late shot clock, you think, man, that was a crazy shot, but it wasn't. Like that's a shot that he practices. Now he might not practice that as much as he practices a three or a step back, but absolutely. So we always call them, late shot clock shots or one-on-one tough shots. But ideally that's what we want. We want the right guy taking the right shot, and that guy can make it a certain percentage. So like in three-point shooting, we've always thought your percentage goes down about 20% with fatigue and with defense and with officiating. And so, like, for us, a 40% three-point shooter is a guy that can shoot 60% at least in drill work. So we always kind of believe in that 20% rule coming down. And so, yeah, that's the quest. Like right now this summer, all of our guys have daily shooting. They have individual workouts. They have team practice. And basically, ideally is if you shoot a shot in live play, it's a shot that we know you can make at a certain percentage, and we know that you practice all the time. It's like, and you can always sense it too on a bench. Like big guy gets the ball and he fades away on his off shoulder, and it's a fadeaway, and the bench is just going crazy. It's like, obviously he probably doesn't make that shot much, right? But then you also see it where like a Steph type guy makes a tough shot, but nobody on the bench even reacts. So it's like, it's that simple. Like, so with some of our players, it's very defined shot selection right now. We got guys on our team that literally only have 3 or 4 game shots. But one of the reasons they came to Ole Miss is we share the vision that we want to expand that. We're always in the business of adding things to your bag. But to add that, it can't just be one workout or, I like that shot. It has to be proven over time. Like everybody in the organization has to know that you spend time on that shot daily and you make it at a certain percentage. So we've got some like what I call yellow light three-point shooters right now, guys that, after the ball gets to the paint on an extra 6 seconds on the shot clock, they're not being guarded. Yeah, you got to take that shot. And for those guys, it's developing into a green light guy where we want that shot taken in a different context than I just described. Then you've got trying to think off the top of my head. We got a couple of guys on our team that really have never shot threes, but we're all about that. We're into player development. We're into dreaming big around here. But the dream can't just be me as the coach allowing you to shoot that shot. It can't be you practicing at night. Eventually, it's going to have to get to the stat sheet. Like, it's a shot that we know you shoot every day, and we know you make a certain percentage, and then it becomes, that's what good offense is. We're trying to get the ball to the paint. We're trying to play fast. We're trying to get the ball side to side. We understand we got to get to the free throw line. We want to get in that bonus early, but it ultimately just comes down to shot. So I describe to guys all the time, like on November 4th, is that what it is, Schwartz, November 4th? On November 4th, we're going to take the first shot of the season. And ultimately, we want it to be a shot that we all want. Like, everybody in the organization's like, yeah, it's a good shot. He shoots that every night. He shoots that every morning. Oh, he can make that shot. That's his shot. And then now it's all in basketball gods. There you go. I mean, some days you make shots, some days you don't. But it's that simple. So that's what shot selection is. In recruiting, you hear a lot, we're looking for a coach that'll let us play our game. We're looking for a coach that'll let us play through mistakes. I mean, yeah, of course. That's what I want too. And but at the end of the day, this isn't like a democracy. It's not like where everybody can just shoot it. Like, we got one basketball. So it's like we want the right guy to take the right shot. And from a player's point of view, you get 24 hours in the day. Put your time and effort into it and show everybody in the organization that you can make that shot at a certain percentage, then, yeah, game on. And we've had some of those teams. Our Little Rock team, when we had 5 green light shooters in our top 6. And so, yeah, we took some shots that might have been different than some of the other teams. And then, you'll hear a media guy, it looks like you've changed your offense. No, we've changed our players. Like, you give me a team with 5 40% shooters, we're going to shoot a lot of threes. You give me a team that has more drivers or developmenting guys. So we're into winning around here. It's like that's what we're trying to do. So, but shot selection, it's all about the players. They understand what they have to do to earn the right to take that shot, and we're all about it. I mean, you prove to me that you can make that shot 80% around the basket, left hand, right hand, euro, step back, fade, spin. I mean, cool, man, you got game. I just want it to be 80% when the game's over. So that's kind of the way we look at shot selection around here.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it, Chris.
You guys ever heard of the NYU Business School?